Some watches are made for style, but some are made for survival. In extreme heat, freezing cold, deep water, or hard impacts, most watches simply fail. But a few are built differently, designed to handle the toughest conditions soldiers and professionals face in the real world. Today we're counting down 10 military watches that are truly built like tanks. Number 10. G-SHOCK GW9400 Rangeman. The Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force does not issue watches for aesthetic reasons. When a military organization chooses a timepiece for field deployment, the evaluation process is methodical, exhaustive, and entirely indifferent to brand prestige or visual appeal. The G-SHOCK Rangeman passed that evaluation and has continued passing it in every subsequent assessment. Not because of its price point, not because of its features list, but because it simply will not stop working regardless of what you put it through. The carbon fiber reinforced resin case meets U.S. military MIL STD 810 for shock, vibration, temperature, and humidity resistance. Multi-band atomic timekeeping means it is always accurate without adjustment. Tough solar charging means it draws power from virtually any light source and stores enough energy to run for months in the dark. In 2026, the Rangeman is still the answer that professionals give when someone asks for the most capable field watch at an accessible price. It has earned that answer through years of irreplaceable evidence. Number 9. Luminox Navy SEAL 3001. The darkness that the Luminox Navy SEAL 3001 was built for is not the darkness of a bedroom with the curtains drawn. It is the darkness of a covert water insertion at 3 in the morning, where no light source exists, where checking your wrist requires no action, no button press, and no light discipline compromise, where the watch simply glows, constantly, reliably, without being asked to. The tritium gas tubes that produce that glow are self-powered by natural radioactive decay, require no charging, and remain fully luminous for 25 years from the date of manufacture. The carbon-reinforced case is rated to 200 meters of water resistance and built to withstand the physical punishment of combat diving. The crystal resists impacts that would shatter conventional mineral glass without any visible damage. Actual naval special warfare operators wore early versions of this watch on actual missions before it became commercially available. The kind of product validation that no marketing budget can purchase and no amount of claimed toughness can substitute for. Number 8. Casio G-SHOCK Mudmaster GWG 2000i. The name tells you what you need to know about where this watch is expected to operate, and the engineering behind it tells you that Casio did not treat the name as a metaphor. The Mudmaster GWG 2000 is mud-resistant in the literal, tested, certificated sense of the word. The case construction seals every potential ingress point so completely that the watch continues to function after total submersion in mud slurry in conditions that disable conventional watches within minutes. The carbon core guard structure creates a dual-layer case architecture that absorbs and distributes impact energy across the structure rather than concentrating it at any single point. Triple sensor compass, barometer, and altimeter are all present and calibrated. Multi-band atomic timekeeping and tough solar charging eliminate both accuracy drift and battery anxiety from the field equation entirely. In 2026, the GWG 2000 occupies the position that the original Mudmaster established decades ago, the watch you reach for when you have accepted that the environment you are entering is genuinely hostile, and you need something that already knows that. Number 7. Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical H69439931 before GPS, before atomic radio synchronization. Before solar charging and digital compasses and any of the technologies that define what a field watch can be in 2026, there was the manual wind field watch, and the soldiers who carried them into the most significant conflicts of the 20th century trusted them with the coordination of operations that changed history. The Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical connects you to that tradition through the most direct possible line, a manually wound movement whose simplicity is itself a form of indestructibility. There are no electronics to scramble, no battery to die, no solar panel to crack, just gears, springs, and the daily ritual of winding a watch that has been doing one thing for its entire existence and doing it exactly right every single time. The case construction is dense and purposeful. The Arabic numeral dial reads in conditions where most watch dials require additional effort. In a category increasingly defined by technology, the Khaki Field Mechanical's defiant analog simplicity is not a limitation. It is its greatest strength. Number 6. Suunto Core. All black finish military personnel operate in conditions that clarify very quickly which equipment was built for the outdoors and which was built for the idea of the outdoors. sub-zero temperatures that drain batteries and stiffen materials, deep forest environments that eliminate GPS satellite visibility and require compass navigation, rapid pressure changes that demand accurate barometric reading rather than approximation. The Suunto Core All Black addresses all of it: altimeter, barometer, compass, storm alarm, depth meter, in a case finished entirely in non-reflective black that eliminates the surface shine capable of compromising a position in low-light field operations. The resin construction absorbs impact with a flexibility that rigid metal cases cannot match. The all-black treatment is not a style decision, it is a tactical one, and understanding that distinction tells you everything about the philosophy behind this watch. Suunto built this for the person whose life might depend on reading it accurately and not being seen wearing it. In 2026, it serves that person as well as it ever has. Number 5. Marathon GSAR Antimagnetic Marathon has been supplying watches to the Canadian Armed Forces, U.S. military, and NATO since 1939, not as a marketing partnership, not as a limited edition collaboration. As an active supplier to military organizations that test, evaluate, and reject watches that do not meet their operational requirements, and have been choosing Marathon's products for over 80 years because they consistently do. The GSAR Antimagnetic is the watch at the center of that relationship. Built with tritium tube illumination for constant darkness readability, anti-magnetic construction that protects the movement from the electromagnetic interference generated by military communications and navigation equipment, and 300-meter water resistance that exceeds most professional diving requirements. The case is engineered to withstand the kind of physical abuse that voids the warranty on every other watch in the civilian market. In 2026, the Marathon GSAR carries a military provenance that is not claimed or approximated. It is documented, ongoing, and renewed with every operational deployment by forces that have had 80 years to choose something else and keep choosing this. Number 4. Garmin Instinct 2. Solar Tactical Modern Warfare has requirements that no purely mechanical watch can meet. Requirements that emerge from the evolution of operations in which GPS positioning, physiological monitoring, mission timing, and electronic signature management are not optional enhancements but operational necessities. The Garmin Instinct 2. Solar Tactical was built in direct response to those requirements. Stealth mode disables all wireless transmission to eliminate detectable electronic signatures in sensitive environments. Night vision goggle compatibility ensures display readability without breaking low-light protocols. GPS accuracy provides positioning data that saves lives in environments where conventional navigation is compromised. The solar charging system delivers what independent field testing has validated as effectively unlimited operational life under normal outdoor activity conditions. The case meets MIL STD 810OH across thermal, shock, vibration, and humidity categories. In 2026, this is the watch that active duty professionals in multiple NATO forces carry on operations, not because it was issued, but because they evaluated every option available and chose it. That evaluation, by people whose lives depended on it, is the only endorsement that matters. Number 3. Casio G-Shock DW6900, the indestructible original. In 1983, a Casio engineer named Kikuo Ibe dropped his watch down a flight of stairs and watched it shatter. He spent the next 2 years building something that wouldn't. The result was the original G-Shock, a watch designed around the principle that a timepiece should be able to survive a 10-meter free fall onto concrete without interruption of function. The DW6900 is the direct descendant of that original obsession, carrying the 10-meter drop resistance, 200-meter water resistance, and shock-absorbing case architecture that Ibe's engineering created in 1983 and that G-Shock has been refining through 40 years of field deployment since. What makes the DW6900 remarkable in 2026 is not that it is the most technologically advanced watch on this list, it isn't, but that it has been thrown, dropped, submerged, frozen, baked, and subjected to decades of industrial abuse by millions of owners in real working environments and has emerged from essentially all of it still functioning. That track record is the most credible military specification in existence. It was earned one dropped watch at a time. Number 2. Bremont MBII British Military Issue. The British Ministry of Defence does not issue watches to its armed forces on the basis of heritage or aesthetics. The PAN 11 military specification that Bremont's MBII was built to satisfy covers shock resistance, magnetic resistance, water resistance, luminosity standards, and movement accuracy requirements across temperature ranges that eliminate most commercial watches from consideration before the testing begins. The MBII passes every one of those requirements. Not approximately, not at the margins of specification, but with the headroom that only genuine engineering produces. The triptych case construction, borrowed from Bremont's aviation heritage, creates a three-part case architecture where the middle section is machined from a material chosen specifically for its resistance properties, and the overall assembly distributes impact energy more effectively than any conventional single-piece case. The movement is regulated to chronometer standards before leaving the factory. In 2026, the MBII is simultaneously the most mechanically sophisticated watch on this list and the one with the most direct, documented, ongoing military deployment record. Both of those things are extraordinary. Together, they are something else entirely. Number 1. Rolex Submariner Military Issue 5513, the legend. Every other watch on this list was built to be tough. This one was built to be perfect, and then deployed by the British Special Boat Service and Royal Navy in operations so demanding, so classified, and so physically extreme that the watch's survival through them is itself a form of testimony about what it is capable of. The military-issue Rolex Submariner 5513, with its matte black dial, broad arrow designation, ghost bezel, and case construction that Rolex refused to compromise regardless of the military pricing constraints applied to the contract, is not simply a dive watch. It is the artifact of a relationship between a watchmaker and a special forces unit that asked more of a timepiece than any civilian application has ever required, and received it. In 2026, original examples are museum-quality pieces whose value reflects historical significance rather than simple collector demand. They sit at the top of this list not because they are the most technologically advanced or the most recently engineered. They sit here because they went, because they came back, because the people wearing them trusted them completely in conditions where misplaced trust had consequences and were never let down.